Hello, this is Sheshachalam from Astro Guide Mysore. We are still going ahead with the Dhana Yogas, that is the yogas or combinations for wealth. And we are in between with regard to the Ascendant Lord and when it is posited in the Ascendant. To understand these Dhana Yogas better, it would be better that you people go through the videos which I have dealt with Yoga Karakas for different Ascendants. Only then you will be able to understand what actually a planet will give for a certain Ascendant. So the link of this video will be there in the end of the talk. So please, please go through the Yoga Karakas and then you will have a better understanding as to how the Dhana Yogas will actually work. So the concept will be easier, that's all. So now, in this case, it is the Mars Lagna. Mars Lagna means there are two ascendants which are actually the sign of Mars. That is, Mars should be in its own ascendant and the planets Venus, Saturn and Mercury are to be aspecting or conjunct with Mars. So let us understand this one by one. Mars has two ascendants, that is, one sign it is Aries, the second one sign of Mars is Scorpio. So this is a little difficult yoga to understand because the planets which are to be either aspecting or conjunct are Venus, Saturn and Mercury. So here we should have one thing directly. It is so conflicting that Mars and that ascendant itself takes these three as negative enemy planets. And how come these negative enemy planets, which are not the Yogakarakas for this particular ascendant, start giving wealth? You will understand this now. So you will understand it better. Let me explain. So let us first go to the Aries ascendant with Mars in it. First of all, there is Ruchaka Yoga in it now. So for all ascendants, when Jupiter is in it, it will be Hamsa Yoga. If Saturn is in its own ascendant, it will be Sasa Yoga. So these are yogas with further manifestations of Ruchaka, Bhadra, Hamsa, Malavya and Sasa. Earlier two yogas were of the luminaries where these yogas, the Panchamahapurush Yoga was not applicable for the sun and the moon, which I had done yesterday. So for the henceforth 5 yogas, it is applicable for only those ascendants where the ascendant lord is posited in it itself. So these are Panchamahapurush Yoga. Now this is Ruchaka Yoga, and what is actually needed, let us only deal with Aries now. Let us wipe this off. So for Aries, it is required that Venus, Saturn and Mercury are aspecting the ascendant. Saturn can aspect in 3 different aspects, like the third aspect if Saturn is here. Third aspect, that is first, second and third aspect. And 7th aspect if Saturn is here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then you also have another aspect, the 10th aspect of Saturn, that is when it is here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So Saturn should be aspecting the ascendant. It is not that Mars is aspecting it. Mutual aspect is not spoken about. But anyway, in these two cases, Mars also aspects Saturn. So there is a mutual aspect. In this case, Saturn is exalted. In this case, it is in its Mula Trikona. Only in this case, Saturn is a little uncomfortable. So it is not that comfortable in Cancer ascendant or Cancer Rashi. So these two planets, that is Venus and Mercury, do not have any other option in this yoga. Either they have to be present in the 7th house or with the ascendant. That is, Saturn can also be here. That is, aspecting or conjunct. So these are the 4 positions where Saturn can be if the yoga has to fructify. So then you have Venus and Mercury here, or Venus and Mercury here. Because Venus and Mercury are very always close together, it cannot be that Venus is here and Mercury there, or Mercury there and Venus here. It cannot happen. So either this is the combination, or this is the combination of Venus and Mercury. So here you can nicely understand this particular point. Venus is the second lord and the seventh lord. Second house is for wealth, seventh house for business, because this is the house of business anyway. The Rashi itself is the business Rashi. Saturn is the 10th and the 11th lord. 10th and the 11th lord. Both are Upachaya sthanas, that is the house of growth. This is for profit. And the 10th house is for occupation or profession. What we call as karma sthana, profession. Okay. So Mercury once again has two lordships. Here it is the third and the sixth lord. Third and the sixth. This is only with regard to this particular Lagna I am talking now. So here if you see 3, 6, 10, 11, you can see all the Upachaya sthanas, 3, 3rd, 6th, 10th and 11th. We call it as Upachaya. And it is in combination with 2nd and 7th. And what is the Lagnadhipati itself? We should not forget that the main person involved here is Mars. So the main person involved is Ascendant. Ascendant Lord, let us take it as ASC, Ascendant, and the 8th Lord. So I have been stressing on this point. So only when the 8th house is strongly posited in a chart, only then you will get very strong motivation and desire to get into lot of earning, you're aspiring for lot of wealth. So this is a fantastic yoga for wealth, because the 2nd, the 7th, the 10th, the 11th, 2nd and the 11th are, dhana and labha, profession, business, upachaya sthanas, that is activity, competitiveness and desire is there along with ascendant. So this is how we have to understand the Dhana Yoga. So let us go to the next ascendant. The next ascendant is of Scorpio, where Mars is posited. The same planets and the same position. Position will change, sorry, it is not the same position. So let us do it afresh. So this is Mars. So we all know now that Saturn, Venus and Mercury can be present here also. This is also giving rise to this particular Dhana Yoga. But more than that, there are other positions where Saturn can actually give a very strong Dhana Yoga. Saturn from here aspects this ascendant with its 10th aspect. 10th aspect. It is in the 4th from the ascendant, but from Saturn, this is the 10th house. 7, 8, 9, 10. So Saturn in the 7th house, in Venus's house, it's a fantastic placement for Saturn. It likes that position, so it will be a very good aspect of Saturn. Saturn here also is a very good position because it is in its friend's house. So aspect of Saturn. So you can understand that there are 4 positions of Saturn. And also, if you see this position, you will understand how beautiful this yoga will give rise to. So, why Mercury has been involved here, you should understand. If it was only Venus, then there would have been a conflict between Mars situated here and Venus situated there. If Saturn, Venus and Mercury are there, that means it's only Mars here. Okay, we are not having any other planet here. So you should understand that. So that means I'm just giving you options of placements. It doesn't mean that all are placed everywhere. It doesn't happen also. So this is a fantastic yoga. This gives rise to Malavya Yoga, and this gives rise to Ruchaka Yoga, and this gives rise to Sasa Yoga. You can understand, I have dealt with a chart very recently where that is I think on Sunday, or no, I think on Monday, I have dealt with the chart 2 days back where there were too many excited placement of planets, exalted planets, and 2 planets in one house, that is Sun and Venus were in the one house. Saturn was exalted, Mercury was exalted, Jupiter was exalted, but that person was suffering from schizophrenia. So that means don't just see these planets, you have to see the other planets also. This planet will anyway give you Dhana Yoga. In that chart also, though he is a patient of schizophrenia, they are well placed with good ample amount of money where they can take care of him. So he has that in his chart. So let us go through this chart once again. So for this particular Lagna, Saturn is the third and the fourth lord. Third and the fourth. Okay? And Venus is the 7th and the 12th lord. And Mercury is the 8th and the 11th lord. And you can't leave out the ascendant itself, it's 1st and the 6th house. See, once again you can understand the Upachaya sthanas. Let us circle the Upachaya sthanas 3, 6 and 11. Except for the 10th house, which is Leo, every other Upachaya sthana has been recorded here. And you can also see that the house of business, Sukha sthana, that is Saturn's position. Sukha sthana is very important because it is one of the kendras which actually gives happiness, enjoyment with regard to luxuries of materialistic luxury. 4th house will not give you a happiness with regard to enlightenment and great achievement, or you get ecstasy of bliss of God. Nothing. 4th house is, if I buy a vehicle, whether I will be happy with that buy, whether I will buy a good house, whether I will get into good college, whether I will have a big office to work in. So all these environmental things, where I am, what I wear and all those things is the 4th house. So the 8th house, once again I have told you, is with regard to real estate, property, acquiring property, even getting parental property and all those things. 12th house very clearly here suggests that all this can happen abroad. All this can happen abroad. The person can actually buy houses, can live a fabulous, rich, luxurious life abroad, far away from his place of birth. So that is also because if the 12th lord is present in the ascendant Venus, then he will be placed abroad. He will build a palatial house abroad. And if the 12th lord is here, that is Venus in the 7th house, he will be having foreign trade and a lot of things with regard to foreign land. So this is once again a very strong yoga to understand. I hope there is time for another yoga. If there is time, we will do it, or else I will do in detail all the other yogas also one by one. I can do one more yoga. So okay. So let us do a yoga with regard to the placement, the ascendant of Mercury. So once again you will be getting Bhadra Yoga here, because Mercury in the ascendant gives rise to Bhadra Yoga if it is its own sign. So here Mercury in the ascendant, that is the ascendant can be either Virgo or it can be Gemini. Very rarely you get big Raj Yogas for Virgo and Gemini because they are the corners. We have a lot of Kendra Adhipatya dosha to address here. But still, Mercury in the ascendant and with Saturn and Jupiter aspecting and conjunct. So let me start writing down. So Saturn and Jupiter. So what is Saturn? Saturn is the 5th and the 6th lord for, let me take this as case 1 and this as case 2. So for Virgo ascendant, so Saturn is 5th and 6th lord, 5th and 6th lord, and Jupiter is 4th and 7th. What a fantastic combination of 4 and 5 and 5 and 7. This is a very, very strong combination of high education, executive position. People can go very high in their life. So, and what are the requirements here? That these two planets should have aspect and or conjunction. It is aspect or conjunction over ascendant. That is where Mercury is posited. So, Mercury in the first case will be posited here, giving rise to a very strong Bhadra Yoga. Why? Because it is the exaltation point and also Mula Trikona and also one house. The exaltation point ranges from 0 degree to 15 degrees and from 15 to 20 it is Mula Trikona, and from 20 to 30 it is own house. Own house, OH, this is MT, Mula Trikona, and this is exaltation. So you should be very perfect with regard to these degrees. If you know that, only then you will get to understand the effectiveness of a planet in its ascendant. If you do not know the effectiveness of a planet, you will not know the intensity of the event it actually will create. You will not know the intensity of whatever good or bad is going to happen, whether the event is going to roll, what is the part of the planet which is going to play, whether it is going to involve itself 100% in it, or it is just going to come there and do nothing. So many things can happen. You should understand the strength of the planet first. So these are minor understanding of how to understand strength. We have to go to the Shatbala to understand the in-depth, the total analysis of strength of a planet. But for the while, I think this should be the start. So let us say Saturn has to be aspecting back. So it is not going to be placed here, because if it is placed here, it is going to aspect here. If it is placed here, it is not going to aspect. So Saturn cannot be in its own sign to aspect this particular sign. It has to be either here, and here, or along with it. So this is the 10th aspect. From here, Saturn has 10 houses at aspect. From here, the 7th aspect, and from there, it aspects the 3rd aspect. So Saturn. So Jupiter has to be either here, then here, or it has to be here and here. So from here it is the 9th aspect, which is the strongest aspect, and from here it is the 7th, from here the 5th aspect, and there it is conjunct. So here we are not, I have not mentioned this, let me mention this, is very important. We are not talking about retrograde planets here. Please do not get into the confusion as to what if it is retrograde, whether the yoga will happen or not. This we will discuss in the later part, because we have not discussed about retrogression of a planet apart from scientifically telling how it gets retrograde. We are not discussing about the results of retrograde planets as on date. So let us not get confused in it. We are talking about normal planetary placements which are in cyclic movement, regular movement. Okay, these placements are fantastic. You can see that the 4th and the 5th will give very good combination. Even the 5th and the 7th, if Saturn is here, will give a good combination. Both in the 7th also will give good combination. So these are all for people who go into research, will go into good jobs, high professionalism. People can become IFS, go into Indian Foreign Service or something like that. So they can achieve very good diplomacy. This particular combination is for diplomacy. So high executives and diplomacy. So you should understand this one point. And they go into that and then get wealth. It is not that the wealth will not, see, there should be some ways or means for wealth to come to you, right? It is not that you have the Dhana Yoga and you simply sit like a duck and you will get a golden egg. It doesn't happen. You need to be laying eggs then. So we cannot sit and lay eggs. So we know that we are human beings. So let us work and get it. So whether a person is going to earn it and earn it well, this is what is Dhana Yoga. It is not that a person will be born with a golden spoon. That also happens. Very rarely it happens, but not in all charts. You need to see the Hora to see whether it is in the Surya Hora or in the Chandra Hora. So please refer the Hora chart to understand how a person will have to struggle, which are the planetary dashas in which a person will have to struggle and work hard to earn his earnings, and whether he will get a free flow if it is a Chandra Hora. Please understand that seeing the Hora chart. I think I'll have to do one more ascendant to finish this. So when Mercury is here,
in this first case, like when Jupiter is debilitated, the strength will
obviously decrease. But because it is the 4th and the 7th Lord in the 5th house, in this case, it's 4th and the 7th Lord in the 5th house. Jupiter, when it's in the 5th house, though it is debilitated, being the Kendradipati in Trikona Sthana, will give rise to a Raja Yoga for education. That is why I told that these people can achieve very good education because they will strive hard now. If it is easily placed, then the striving behavior will not be there. The attitude will be easygoing. But here it is tough because it is Nicha. So they will strive hard and they will do good. They will achieve very well. A nice question. So, in this case, Saturn can be here, 7th aspect, Saturn can be here, 10th aspect, only this. Saturn moves here for its 3rd aspect. Or it will be present along with the Ascendant Lord Mercury. So Jupiter cannot be debilitated because it has to have the 5th aspect from here, the 9th aspect from here, and the 7th aspect from here. In this case, you can see that this is more a stronger combination because Jupiter feels comfortable in Kumbha Rashi rather than in Makara Rashi. This you should understand. It's a very simple thing to understand that Jupiter feels good here because this is a Sthira Rashi. You should know the Rashi Karakatvas, you should know the Nakshatra Karakatvas, which I will be teaching later. That don't please refer it anywhere else. You will not get it in my teachings as on date. But Rashi Karakatva, this is a Sthira Rashi. A slow moving planet will always find solace. It will give a strong footing on whatever it gives. So even this position is a good position because it gives business orientation. So this is an excellent position because people can become astrologers, people can become teachers, people can become professors because it is from Gemini. Gemini itself is a born teacher, a professor. Only thing is when there are some planets which are very fast moving and negatively placed, they become chatterbox, loose talking happens. But usually these people are very fast in grasping knowledge and they become professors. So these are the positions for Gemini, and this position makes them a strong MBA candidate, a candidate for IIM, IIM, wherever, Ahmedabad, Kharagpur, wherever. So these people can become very good executives with regard to HR. Why HR? Because this particular Rashi itself is a HR Rashi. What does HR do? I am not trying to, put them into any corner and box with them, but still, I will tell you, half of the HR will not be, joking with your resume. They will scrutinize your resume and it's like, they will make you sweat and each and every drop of your sweat will count. So that means they will see that you are a real metal, you have the metal, METT, not METAL. You have the real metal. That means there is real quality in you that they can hire and they can really invest in you. So that is HR's work, and Gemini, they are people who can actually catch the bigger fish using the smaller ones. So they are very, very, very intelligent with regard to what to do, and so they are very good HR people. They are fantastic businessmen also, so they can become very good IIMs. They are very good in even in teaching because of this particular combination. So they can become very good teachers. And here also, see, again I will be telling this Raja Yogas are not that great for many other things like family life. With Saturn and Jupiter in the 7th house, 8th lord here. So I will not go into those analysis. Family life, love life, it's only for wealth. These people can study well and make a lot of money. If you ask me whether they are good human beings, whether they don't have attitude, whether they have ego, whether they are honest, whether they lie, whether they are manipulative, not today. We will discuss those things later when we take up charts. Thank you very much for today's class.